Hey guys, so this is a pretty simple week. We're going to go back and review integer operations. And the first operation we're going to review is addition. So we're going to use color counters and number lines. So I'm going to do 3 examples with the colored counters and 3 examples with the number lines. And again, if you notice, yellow, remember, represents positive numbers, and the red represents negative numbers. So this first example, we're going to start with a very simple one, positive 3 plus positive 5. So here, we're going to first represent the first number in our problem, which is positive 3. So I'm going to take 3 yellow counters to represent positive 3. And then for the next number is positive 5. So again, I'm still sticking with the yellow, and I'm going to represent positive 5. Okay. Now we want to look at if our colored counters are the same colors or if they're different colors. Since this one is all yellow, then again, since they're the same color, we can just add like normal. So we count together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, 3 plus 5 is 8. Okay. Okay, so moving on to example number 2. So example number 2 is negative 3 plus negative 5. So this one differs from example number 1 because now instead of both numbers being positive, both numbers are being negative. But again, we're going to still solve it the same way. So again, we want to represent our first number, which is negative 3. So we're going to take the red counters, okay, and I'm going to represent negative 3. And I'm just going to add until I get 3. Okay, now the second number is negative 5, and we want to represent that here. So I'm going to take another negative, and I'm just going to keep adding until I have a total of 5 red counters. Okay, now again, we want to ask ourselves, are our colored counters all the same color, or do I have different colors? And again, this one I have all the same color, which is red this time because both numbers are negative. And again, when the colors are the same, we just add like normal. So again, all I'm going to do is going to add these 3 negatives, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to add these 5 negatives, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So again, this answer would be negative 8 because all the colored counters are the same. So we can just add them like normal. They're all negative, so of course our answer is also negative. Okay. Okay, so example number 3 is negative 3 plus 5. Now this one is different from example number 1 and example number 2 because now the signs of each number are different. We have one positive and one negative. So, but again, we're going to follow the same steps. We're going to represent each number. Again, so the first number we need to represent is negative 3. So we're going to drag our negative 3 counter, and we're going to represent that with 3 reds. Our second number is a positive 5. So we want to take our yellow counter, and we want to represent positive 5, which would mean 5 yellow counters. Now, this again, the question to ask yourselves, are the colored counters all the same colors or are they different colors? In this case, they're different colors. So if you remember, when they're different colors, we want to make these 0 pairs. Again, a 0 pair is one positive counter and one negative counter, and they make the number 0. So again, we can't take one of positive and one negative. They have to be a pair. Okay, so here I'm going to make as many 0 pairs as I can, and then we'll see what our answer is. So I'm going to take 1 red and 1 yellow. That's 1 0 pair. Again, it's a pair, okay, because there's 2. I'm going to do this again. Take 1 red and 1 yellow. I've made 2 0 pairs. So that's literally just 0 plus 0, which is 0. And then I'm going to take this last one. So again, that leaves me with 3 0 pairs, but again, they equal 0, so this is just 0. And my answer is what is left over, which is these two positive counters. So my answer is positive 2. Okay, so again, when the colors are different, we want to make those 0 pairs, okay, and then whatever counters are left over is our answer. Okay, so example number 4 is the last example I'll do with the color counters. Again, the example is 3 plus -7. So again, we have two different signs. We have a positive number and we have a negative number. But again, we're going to solve it the same way. So we need to represent the first number, which is positive 3, with the yellow counters. So I'm just going to add, or I'm going to represent positive 3 with 3 yellow counters. And then I'm going to represent this -7 with 7 red counters. Okay, so we have 4. And then again, also you can just draw these. You know, you can do a circle and put a positive, or a circle and put a negative sign if you don't have these colors. Okay, so we have positive 3 plus -7. And again, the question you want to ask yourself, are my colored counters the same color or are they different colors? In this case, again, since there's different signs, they're obviously different colors. So when they're different colors, we want to make those 0 pairs, and whatever counters are left over will be our remaining answer. So I'm going to, again, in a 0 pair is a positive and a negative. So I'm going to create 0 pairs until I cannot make any anymore. So here is 1 0 pair, but again, I can still make more. So I'm going to continue until I can't do this process anymore. Here's a second 0 pair. All right, and here is the last 0 pair that I can make, because now I don't have any yellows, so I can't make any more 0 pairs. And what is left over are these counters here. And we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 red counters. So my answer is -4. Okay, so 3 plus -7 is -4. Now again, if we're just looking at these numbers 3 and -7, if we ask ourselves which one has the greater value, obviously -7 has a greater absolute value. So therefore, since the -7 is greater and it's a negative, then your answer should also be negative. If the 3 was larger, then our answer would be positive. But again, that's not the case here. So 3 plus -7 is -4. So now we're going to move on to number lines. Okay, so when we're working with number lines, it's very similar to the colored counters. We're going to take each number at a time. We're going to determine if it's a positive number or a negative number, and we are going to draw with arrows. So again, remember over here we have red and green is representing the positive, and red is representing the negative. So remember, with number lines also, you want to always start at 0. Okay, so we're always going to start at 0 with our first arrow. And our first arrow is going to represent our first number here. So in this case, our example number 1 is 3 plus 5. So we want to represent, and this is a positive 3. So I'm going to take this first arrow and I'm going to put it at 0, and I'm going to stretch it all the way to positive 3. Now this second number 5 is also positive, so I'm going to take my second arrow. It's going to start where the first one ends, and then I'm going to count 5. Now this arrow is not going to go to 5 here. I need to add 5. So 4, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this arrow is representing 3. And this arrow is representing 5. And since both arrows are going in the same direction and they're the same color, we just add the arrows up. So 3 and 5, and we land on positive 8. So 3 plus 5 is 8. Okay. Okay, example number 2, we have -3 plus -5. Again, in this example, both of our numbers are negative. So again, when we're wanting to move negative, we want to move to the left of 0. So again, we're going to start the same way. We're going to start off representing this first number, which is -3. And instead of using a green arrow, I'm going to use a red arrow, but I'm going to always start at 0. So this first number is -3, so I need to extend it to -3. My second number is -5. Now again, the second arrow isn't telling me to go to -5. This is telling me to add -5. So I'm going to take my second arrow, and again, I'm going to start at this -3, but I need to count 5 spaces to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and from this point, then I can look and see where my arrows land, and my arrow lands at -8. So -3 plus -5 gives me -8. Now again, since the signs are the same, basically we're just adding like normal and we're keeping the sign. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next one. All right, so our third example, +3 plus -5. And again, so we have this positive number. So when I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking positive number. My arrow is going to move in the right direction, to the right of 0. So it gives me that direction. If it's positive, it's moving right. This one is a -5, which means it's negative, which means it's going to move left. And again, these signs are different. So we're going to use 2 different colored arrows this time to represent each number. But again, if the process is the same, we're always going to start with the first number, and we're going to start at 0. So this first number is a +3. So I'm going to take this positive green arrow, and I'm going to start at 0, and I'm going to add 3. 1, 2, 3. This second number is -5. Now again, -5 is telling me to go to the left. The negative sign tells me to move left. So again, now I'm going to start at this +3 because that's where my first arrow ends. But I'm going to move to the left because my number is negative. So from this +3, I'm going to move 5 units to the left. Now again, the arrow is not telling me to go to -5. The arrow is telling me to move 5 units to the left. So from here, from 3, I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and my arrow lands at -2. Okay, so +3 plus -5 is -2. Okay, so again, the negative sign tells you to move what direction. The number tells you how many units to move. Okay. Okay, last example, example number 4, -3 plus 7. So again, I'm going to start my first arrow. It's -3, so it's going to be moving in the left direction, 3 units. I'm going to start at 0, 1, 2, 3. And again, I'm moving to the left because the number is negative. My second number is a +7, so I'm going to use that green arrow. I'm going to start where I left off, and again, the positive tells me to move in the right direction. The number tells me how many units. So I'm going to move to the right, and I'm going to move 7 units. Again, I'm not going to go to +7. I'm going to move 7 units from where I am, and currently I am at -3. So if I want to move 7 units, I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I land at +4. So -3 plus 7, is a +4. Okay, hopefully this video helped. If you have any questions, email me and let me know. Have a good day.